Let me start with a reality that many men are never told. After spending more than 20 years helping couples strengthen and repair their relationships, I've come to one conclusion with complete certainty. Most men honestly believe they understand women, yet many of them don't. It's not because they don't love their partners. It's not because they're selfish, and it's certainly not because they want to be poor partners. The real problem is far simpler. No one ever teaches them the language of emotional connection. There isn't a manual for it, no school lesson, and no practical guide while growing up that explains how emotional intimacy truly develops. To make matters even more challenging, many women find it difficult to explain it themselves. They experience these feelings deeply, but turning those emotions into words isn't always easy. I'm Dr. Claire Dawson. For more than 2 decades, I've worked with couples across Canada, from Vancouver and Toronto to Halifax. I've seen marriages standing on the edge of ending, relationships rebuilding after painful disappointments, and couples finding each other again after years of emotional separation. Throughout all those experiences, one pattern has appeared again and again. Men who sincerely love their partners slowly lose emotional closeness without even realizing it's happening. Today, I'd like to help change that. What I'm about to share isn't based on guesswork or abstract theories. It's built from thousands of conversations and years of observing real relationships firsthand. There are 7 areas on a woman's body that hold deep emotional meaning. And no, this isn't about learning seduction techniques. It's about understanding communication. Here's something many men never fully realize. For most women, touch is rarely just physical. Every touch carries a message. Every gesture communicates something. Deep within her nervous system, one quiet question is always being asked: do I feel emotionally safe with this person right now? When the answer is yes, her body naturally softens and relaxes. When the answer is no, she instinctively pulls away. Not because she no longer loves you, not because her feelings have disappeared, but because her mind and body are designed to protect her emotional well-being. Years ago, one of my clients, we'll call her Patricia, shared something I've never forgotten. She was 58 years old and had been married for more than 3 decades. During one session, she looked at me and said, "Claire, I don't need him to be perfect. I just need him to slow down enough to truly notice me instead of simply touching me." That one sentence explains more about emotional connection than many relationship books ever could. So let's begin. Number 1. The base of the neck ****. The first area is the base of the neck. This is where stress quietly builds over time. Work responsibilities, family commitments, mental fatigue, and the endless list of daily obligations all seem to settle there. Most men don't notice it, but her body feels that tension every single day. Now here's the important part. This isn't about applying firm pressure or giving a massage. It's about offering calm presence. Use 2 or 3 fingertips with slow, gentle movement. No goal. No expectation. Simply be present. When done with patience, something remarkable begins happening within her nervous system. Her breathing gradually slows. The muscles around her neck begin releasing tension. Her body shifts from a state of stress toward one of comfort and relaxation. Oxytocin, the hormone often linked to trust and emotional bonding, can begin increasing, helping her entire system feel more secure. She may not say anything at all. She might simply become quiet. But that silence isn't necessarily emotional distance. Quite often, it's a sign that her body finally feels safe enough to let its guard down. Number 2, between the shoulder blades. The second area is the space between the shoulder blades. This is often where emotional weight seems to collect. It's also a place she can't easily reach herself, making it symbolically represent everything she feels she's carrying alone. This is where many men unintentionally make a mistake. They immediately try to fix the problem. They search for solutions. But this moment isn't asking for advice. It's asking for support. Place a warm, steady hand between her shoulder blades. No rubbing. No pressure. Just quiet stillness and reassuring presence. What you're really communicating is, I see everything you're carrying. You don't have to carry it alone. I once worked with a couple in their early 60s. Every evening while his wife prepared dinner, the husband would gently place his hand between her shoulder blades for a few quiet moments. He never made a big gesture or said anything dramatic. 3 weeks later, she smiled and told me, I can't explain it, but I feel close to him again. There was no miracle involved. Their emotional connection simply returned through small, consistent acts of care. Number 3, the hands. The third area is the hands. And I'm not referring to casually holding hands for a few moments. Genuine connection goes much deeper. A woman's hands often reflect the care she gives to others. They create, nurture, comfort, and express affection every single day. When you intentionally give attention to her hands, you're recognizing all of those quiet contributions. Try holding her hand while slowly tracing each finger or gently moving your thumb across her palm. Don't rush. There's no destination. Simply focus on being fully present together. Research suggests that slow, meaningful touch can activate many of the same emotional pathways that verbal reassurance does. In other words, your touch can sometimes communicate understanding more powerfully than words ever could. Number 4, behind the ear and along the jawline. The fourth area is just behind the ear and along the jawline. This area is naturally sensitive, but what gives it emotional significance isn't simply that sensitivity. It's the level of attention it requires. To touch this area gently, you have to slow down. You have to focus. You have to be completely present. When you do, something subtle often happens. Her body recognizes that care before her conscious mind even processes it. She feels acknowledged. She doesn't feel rushed. She doesn't feel overlooked or treated like another routine part of everyday life. Instead, she feels genuinely noticed. And feeling truly seen is one of the deepest emotional needs within any lasting relationship. Number 5, the inner area near the knee. The fifth area is the inner area near the knee. Here, patience becomes everything. This isn't about moving quickly or escalating physical intimacy. It's about demonstrating self-control and respect. A slow, respectful touch in this area quietly communicates an important message. I value being close to you, but I also respect your comfort. That message matters deeply because many people unintentionally rush intimacy. Trust doesn't grow through pressure. Trust grows through patience. Many women have described this kind of thoughtful, respectful touch as especially meaningful because it allowed them to feel emotionally safe. And safety is often the foundation upon which openness is built. Number 6, the lower back. The sixth area is the lower back. This part of the body often represents stability and support. When you gently place your hand there, especially while standing beside her or walking together, her nervous system frequently interprets that gesture as reassurance. Not control. Not possession. Support. You're not directing her movements or trying to lead her somewhere. You're simply sending one quiet message. I'm here. Sometimes those two words carry more emotional weight than an entire conversation ever could. Number 7, the lower abdomen. The seventh, and perhaps the most misunderstood, area is the lower abdomen. This area requires patience, gentleness, and complete respect. It's never about urgency or expectation. It's about creating an atmosphere of calm and emotional security. When approached thoughtfully and respectfully, this area can encourage a feeling of emotional grounding. But the most important element isn't biology. It's intention. No rushing. No hidden agenda. No expectation. Just quiet presence, as though time itself has slowed down. Within that peaceful stillness, one powerful message naturally emerges. I'm completely here with you. Not halfway present. Not distracted. Fully present. Final thoughts. Now take a moment to reflect on everything we've discussed. 7 different areas. 7 different examples. But if we're being honest, this conversation was never really about specific places on the body. It has always been about awareness. Because most relationships don't fall apart simply because love disappears. They struggle because presence slowly fades away. We stop paying attention. We stop noticing the little things. We stop offering touch without expecting something in return. We stop communicating through small everyday moments. And little by little, emotional distance quietly replaces emotional closeness. The encouraging news is that connection can always be rebuilt. Sometimes all it takes is one simple gesture. A gentle hand resting at the base of her neck. A reassuring touch across her back. A meaningful moment of holding her hand without rushing anywhere. Small acts of care, repeated consistently over time. I've watched couples in their 60s and 70s rediscover warmth, affection, and closeness they believed had disappeared forever. Not because of dramatic transformations. Not because of extravagant romantic gestures. But because they chose intentional presence. So tonight, keep it simple. Have no expectations. No agenda. No pressure. Just be fully present. Because sometimes the most meaningful message is never spoken aloud. Sometimes it's communicated through one quiet touch that simply says, "I'm here."